Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Shifted, where today we're going to continue the conversation of numerology, specifically your personal year. And if you're not sure what a personal year is, don't worry. You'll still be able to understand what I'm sharing in today's episode. But I also encourage you to go back and listen to shift number 16, the previous episode, where I explain what a personal year in numerology is. Now, being that we're in January, it can feel like this pressure cooker, right? To create New Year's resolutions, to set new intentions, to create a word of the year. And I myself have fallen to this pressure of creating a word of the year. And I did this literally just a couple of days ago. And coming into January, I wasn't even thinking about creating a word of the year. Now, I did this last year in January of 2025, and I took it really, really, really seriously. I set intentions that come January, this is something that I was going to do, I was going to focus on, and I was going to create my word of the year through the lens of numerology and using my personal year. And in 2025, I was in a personal year 9. So I decided to lean into that year 9, which is all about completion, the bigger picture. It's about release. This is the humanitarian. This is about letting things go so that you can move into a new 9-year cycle, leaving behind all of the limiting beliefs and stories, and even habits that you have that have been holding you back. And so my word of the year for 2025 was liberation. Right? I wanted to be liberated from all of these limiting beliefs and stories that had been holding me back, not only just for the past year, but for years. I also decided to tag on a second word of the year that was leaning into the direction in which I was going, which was coming into a personal year 1, which is where I am at now. That switched over for me in September because our personal year runs birthday to birthday, not calendar year to calendar year. So we'll talk about that here a little bit more in a minute. So last year, I technically had 2 words of the year. I had liberation and I had leadership. And let me tell you guys, be careful what you ask for when it comes to when it comes to setting intentions, because you might have the greatest of intentions in picking your words, and then life just throws you a curveball. Like, this is a small tangent, but hang on with me for a second. I just want to give you an example of this. I remember when I first started learning about setting intentions and the power of them. And I remember one day I set the intention that I was going to be productive that day. I wanted to be productive. I hadn't been productive. I felt like I was lagging on day to day, wasn't motivated, and I was just ready to get things done. So I decided that my intention for that day was going to be productive. And let me tell you, that was the most productive day in my life, but not in the way that I had imagined. It was so busy. I was completely exhausted at the end of the day. It was just one thing after another, after another, after another. So I learned my lesson there. And I have never since that day set another intention of being productive. So leaning into this liberation, I can tell you now that I am officially out of my 9 year in my personal year, that I do feel liberated. I absolutely feel liberated. Now that I'm on the other side of it, I can look back and say, whew, I am so glad that I chose this direction, this focus, um, this energy to lean into, because I was able to shed so many old versions of myself that were literally holding me back. Now, it was really hard going through it. I didn't feel this gratitude in my 9 year as I was going through it. It was really hard, and I won't get into all of that. But at the end of the day, there's so much benefit that has come from it because I was able to really, truly release a lot of things that were holding me back. I can genuinely say that I feel like a completely different person coming into my new personal year 1. And specifically, since we entered this universal year 1, there has been massive shifts that have happened for me in January. And we're only like a couple of weeks into January at the time of this recording. So coming into this year, I knew that January can literally feel like a pressure cooker to set New Year's resolutions, to create all of these goals. And I wanted to honor where we are actually at, and that is still winter. I mean, if you look outside, there's nothing in bloom, there's nothing gaining momentum, there's nothing that is really quickly moving or sprouting out of the ground, there's nothing blooming out there in nature. And so I really wanted to lean into, I'm not going to set New Year's resolutions. I'm not going to be completely committed to setting new health goals and workout routines and all of these things, right? I'm not going to lean into the pressure. And one of the beautiful things about releasing ourselves from pressure is that when something is right for you, you will know the timing will be whatever it is going to be. We can feel this pressure constantly to get things done now and to make things happen now, to get things in motion. And a lot of times when we try to force something to happen before it's right timing, we feel a lot of resistance, and that can cause a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. But when things happen for us, when something is of the right timing, we'll know it's the right timing because there's not going to be that resistance. Things are just going to happen without us trying to make it happen. We're not forcing anything to happen. It literally is like just happening for us. And that's what happened with me literally a couple of days ago when it comes to setting the word of the year. I hadn't thought about doing this at all until one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? This served me so well last year. And I feel in such a good place right now that I feel ready to pick a word of the year that doesn't just look good on paper, which was kind of the approach that I had last year with picking my word liberation and leadership. I literally was just following a formula. But this year it's so different because it wasn't forced. It was so natural. And instead of me having to literally try to think of a word that would fit, the word just came to me. There was no real thought process at all whatsoever. It's literally like my subconscious just threw the word into my conscious brain, was like, hey, let's do this. This is what will be good for you this year. And that word that my subconscious just threw into my conscious was satisfaction. Now, interestingly enough, satisfaction is my signature theme as a generator in human design. And so I said to myself, okay, this is cool. I like this. This feels good. Yes, I want to feel satisfied. I want to just do things that bring me satisfaction, which is true generator energy right there. Like we are literally here to do things that light us up, that excite us, that give us energy, and things that drain our energy. It's a sign literally, or bring us frustration. These are signs that we are literally doing something that is not meant for us. It's not meant for us to put our energy into. That's a tangent. I won't go there. We'll talk about that on another day because there's so much power behind leaning into your signature and your not self theme inside of human design. And I find it interesting that this came up for me this year to include my human design signature theme alongside of my personal year when it comes to creating my word of the year. Now, being in a personal year one, this is the leader. So this is about independence. It's about new beginnings. It's like the planting of the seeds. It's even ambition. It is setting the tone for the next year, for the next 9-year cycle that we are stepping into. And so I decided that I'm not going to shift the word satisfaction to line up with leadership like I did in 2025, right? I literally looked at my 1 year and said, leader. That's my word of the year, leadership. Okay, liberation and leadership. Literally like picking words from the definition of what the personal years were and using them as my word of the year. And so this year, I decided that instead of like picking the word, from my personal year definition. I'm literally going to use that as the intention, as the foundation, as the energetic signature behind the intention of feeling satisfaction on a day to day basis. Now, does this mean because I've picked this that I'm going to feel satisfied every single day? No. But this is what's going to help me create stronger boundaries on what I am willing to give my energy to, whether that is a person or a relationship, it is an experience, it is an environment that I want to be in, it is a community that I want to be a part of or that I want to grow, or a project or a client or, an activity, like literally anything. If it doesn't bring me satisfaction, I'm literally saying peace out. I'm literally saying, nope, that doesn't bring satisfaction. That brings resistance. That brings frustration. So I'm not going to give my energy to it. And what is that? That is creating a strong boundary to protect my energy. And what is that doing? That is honoring. That is me honoring my energy. And when you honor your energy, what do you feel? Less resistance. And when we feel less resistance because we have these stronger boundaries, then guess what comes out of that? Confidence, clarity, focus, direction, empowerment, inspiration, motivation. I could literally go on and on and on and on and on. And I can say these things with confidence because I've experienced it. And here's the beautiful thing about working with your energy is that working with energy is not linear. It is literally like a spiral that is going up and up and up. So you hear the term new level, new devil. No, new level, same devil, but we are literally viewing it from a higher perspective because we continue to grow, we continue to expand, we continue to raise our frequency. This is the beauty of working with energy. And all of this creates less resistance. Now, can you get to your goals? Can you be successful without working with your energy? Yeah, absolutely you can. I'm living proof. I've had experience of creating success in my life, literally working against my energy. However, there was a lot of resistance that came with that I had to push through, which was completely draining and frustrating. And even like, you want to talk about draining your confidence, draining your clarity, the fog coming in on the path, like just having no idea what the next thing is, what the next step is. But I got to push through anyway. I got to make things happen, especially because I said I was going to make things happen. But at the end of the day, that's not sustainable. And I have proof of that too, because I could not sustain that success. Everything started to shut down, including my health. And since learning about energy and how to work with energy and what my energy blueprint is, which is what human design introduced me to, there has been less resistance, more and more and more over the months and years that I have been implementing and embodying this practice of simply working with my energy, honoring my energy through these strong boundaries. That has created less resistance and has built confidence in me, has given me clarity, has given me focus and direction, and has relieved me from the pressure of trying to figure everything out and the pressure of getting it all done now, making it happen now. It's got to happen now. Otherwise, I'm going to fail. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. If I don't make it happen now, then I don't know, or I don't trust that it's not going to work out for me. And then I don't know what that means. And the fear of the unknown, oh my gosh, it can totally hold us captive. Now, here's the beautiful thing about working with your energy and learning your personal year and leaning into your personal year is that it is never too late. I mentioned earlier that your personal year runs from your birthday to your birthday. So that doesn't mean that just because it's not your birthday month or you just passed your birthday or your birthday is months down the road that you've missed the boat and you can't do anything about it right now. You are never, never too late. You are always on time. You are always exactly where you are meant to be in this moment of time. I want you to know that no matter where you are, no matter how hard it is, bit of a tangent, hang on with me here. But no matter how hard it is for you right now, or how much you believe that you don't have what you need or what you want, you are exactly where you are meant to be right now. And this is the beautiful thing about working with your energy, is that we can always shift. We can always start. We can always recalibrate. Okay, we can always redirect ourselves. We can always make that change at any point in time. Remember, even the most energetically aligned human beings on earth fall out of alignment from time to time. It's about catching yourself when you fall out so that you can redirect yourself back towards alignment, back towards honoring your energy and working with your energy to create that flow and to experience less resistance. So, even me, myself, I am living proof here right now. My personal year runs September to September, not January to January. But that doesn't mean that this is not a good thing for me to do, or not in my favor, or is going to cause me harm in any way, shape, or form. This is the awareness that I have right now of, hey, I can step into it. That means it is the most perfect timing for me right now to step into this new word of the year of feeling satisfied and removing everything out of my life or shifting things in my life to bring me out of frustration and into satisfaction, because that is what I want to experience over this next year, over this next 9 years, over the rest of my life in reality. But I don't have to worry about the rest of my life because that'll all unfold in its own perfect timing. So you can do this right here, right now. No matter if your birthday is in January, if it's in June, if it's in September, if it's in December. Whether you have created your word of the year already or you weren't even thinking about creating a word of the year. If you're feeling drawn to this, then experiment with it, play with it. This is not about commitment right now. It's like, what would it look like? What would it feel like to take this approach? To create a personal or a word of the year through the lens of my personal year in numerology. What would that look like? If I've already created my word, how can I view this, or how can I shift the intention of this word, or what it means to me, by looking at it through the lens of my personal year? What shift can I make to work with that particular energy, the season of life that I am currently in? So for me, going forward, I have full intentions that come September, I'm going to revisit my word of the year. Does that mean I'm going to change it? No. My word of the year might be the same every single year, but the intention behind it, the foundation behind it, that might shift. That is most likely going to shift because I'm going to go from a personal year 1 right now into a master number personal year number 11. And if you're curious more about what that really means and what that looks like, then head on over to the Conscious Business Hub on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel. And look for the 2026 Reset Workshop, because I go into all of it there for you. So going forward, come September, I am going to revisit my word of the year and what that means for me, and set intentions going forward for my next personal year, the end of 2026, going into 2027, and what needs to shift, what new perspective is going to help me work with my energy so I feel less resistance, so that I have new, stronger boundaries that continue to support me and my energy and where I'm at in my season of life. And that's going to give me confidence. It's going to give me clarity. It's going to give me focus and direction. So try this and see what shifts for you, and share with me your personal year and or your word of the year based off of your personal year and why you chose that word. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can email me anytime at hello@ksromano.com. And all those links will be in the show notes for you for easy access, including the 2026 workshop. Thank you for joining me today, and I can't wait to see what shifts for you. Hi, I'm Kimberly Romano, Indian wedding photographer turned brand photographer and human design reader. Thank you for tuning into Shifted, the podcast that is here to spark a shift in you that creates big change in your energy, perspective, and direction. And if this episode sparked a shift in you, then subscribe and leave a review sharing what your shift was. Not only will this help others discover this podcast, but your shift can inspire them to have a shift of their own. Please remember, the content you hear in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as legal, health, or financial advice. For professional guidance, I encourage you to seek out a trusted expert near you. Thank you again for tuning into Shifted. Until next time, keep leaning into the shift.